Hello, and welcome back to 68 Cups of Blueberry Tea. For Season 2, I am coming to you from a new place, Dili, the capital city of Timor-Leste. There's something about starting a season here. It's a city shaped by movement, resilience, and quiet strength. And fittingly, I am recording this while a ship is docked just in the port of Dili. The Doulos Hope is a floating library that travels Asia and the Pacific, carrying books, stories, and conversations from port to port. It doesn't stay long anywhere, but it leaves something behind every time. Today, I'm joined by Vale Rios, who operates the media and communications channels on board the Doulos Hope. I wanted to speak with Vale not just about the ship, but about the people who choose this life, what it means to bring stories across borders, and what happens when you slow down long enough to really listen to a place and to each other. This conversation feels like the right way to begin Season 2. Let's start here.
Vale, thank you for joining me. I am so excited to be here. 3 weeks into my new chapter here in Timor-Leste, and I heard about this floating library and I had to know more, and so here we are.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming and thank you for being into it.
So to start us off, for someone who has never heard of or stepped on board this ship, how would you describe Doulos Hope in one breath?
I mean, we are a floating book fair that sails around Asia and the Pacific soon, sharing three things, and those are to share knowledge, help, and hope. We're a volunteer crew coming from more than 35 different nationalities. And I think once you step on board, you will feel that is a whole experience itself. So it's more than books, it's just experience that you will get out of it.
And how long have you been with the crew for?
Yeah, so I've been with Doulos Hope for almost 3 years, so like 34 months to be exact.
And where has that taken you?
Yeah, so I was privileged to be part of that first crew of people that started the ship. Doulos Hope is the newest addition in our fleet. So we started back in 2023. We acquired her in 2022. Then we went to all the changes and all the different works. And then in 2023, we started off in Singapore in May. And from there, we have been to Malaysia. We went to Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, Taiwan, Hong Kong, back to Singapore. And then, yeah, like we went back and forth to different islands and countries around Asia, East and Southeast Asia. And now we're coming here to Timor-Leste for the first time. It's been a long time since we visited, one of our ships visited here. And then we're heading towards the Pacific now.
Mm-hmm. Solomon Islands next?
No, we're going first to PNG and then down. So yeah, we're trying to see Solomon Islands or Fiji, some of the Pacific islands that you probably know better than I do.
Well, how long do you stay docked in a port?
It depends. So it depends a lot on like the country, the availability in the port. But we try to be at least 2 or 3 weeks. We have stayed also like 5 or 6 weeks, and depending on the port really, and the works that we'll be doing.
And so if you are departing port from Dili tomorrow, how long will it take you to sail to Papua New Guinea? It depends.
It depends where we're going, right? Because PNG is quite big. But yeah, we are heading towards Port Moresby, so the capital city of PNG, and it will be a voyage of roughly 7 days. So yeah, so we're going to cross very close to Australia and then going up. Yeah, our ship doesn't sail very fast because we're, like there's different things, technical things, but we are able to go from port to port, and that's what it matters.
And so what does a day on the ship look like when you are traveling in between the countries?
Oh, like during sailing?
Yeah.
Well, they look quite different and unique. We have days that we try our best also to slow down, process what happened, and prepare for what is coming. But I know, like a normal day, we start with my team. We start around like 8:30. So we gather together, we meet, we talk through what is going to be on that day. Sometimes if we accomplish our task, then the manager's kind enough to give us like just to go off and like just explore or like see what is happening. There's some people that will be watching movies or playing some games like more in the evenings as we start to slow down. But also if we have a longer voyage, we have a little tradition of having a barbecue up on deck. So like it's just the whole community gathering together, eating some barbecue, but also just like reflecting on what happened and just having some fun in between, and then preparing for what is coming. So you can start seeing even like how people start like maybe changing some clothes and becoming a bit more casual, and like you're at home, right? So then you just stay comfortable, and then slowly as you get closer to the port, like people start again like all properly dressed and like okay, all very official, and then we start. But it's exciting. It's very exciting to be in the port and also in that in between.
Do you feel like you are a bit of a nomad, or do you still have a home from where you did grow up?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. I don't know. I guess the word home is hard to describe right now because I do think this is home. Um, so, of course, I think I have a sense of belonging back in Colombia, like where my family is, my friends. But I also feel that I'm home here. So it's like I actually had the opportunity to recently go home to Colombia. And it was the first time I traveled all the way from Asia to Colombia, which is a bit of a long journey, I realized. And it was very interesting when I stepped in Bangkok into the airplane. Very usual, like very surrounded by Asians. Everyone was like speaking different languages that I was used to. And then I transit through Turkey, and in Turkey the whole thing changed because suddenly I was surrounded by Colombians and Spanish speakers, and I was like, I haven't been like this for almost 3 years. It feels kind of odd, but it felt like home also. So I was just like, wow, it feels weird, but it's nice. So it's hard. Maybe not. I don't know.
I very much understand that feeling when you've been abroad and you've been away for so long, and then you come home and I'm surrounded by Australians, and like, what is going on? Or even if I am overseas and I hear an Australian accent, then my ears go pinging.
Yeah, and especially because we are here. Like I speak English, right, in here. So it's been a while since I've been just speaking English, and then coming home and just speaking Spanish. I was like, oh yeah, I remember. Of course, I remember my mother tongue, but there's certain words that it will come faster in English, and I would be like, Valet, what is it?
Rewire the brain.
So yeah, but I think it's a privilege. Yeah, to have a few homes.
Well, further to that, and so what sort of, you see the people that you spend the time with on the boat, do you see the crew and the volunteers themselves? Do you see a change amongst them, given that you have been one of the longest serving staff here? Are you conscious of watching those changes?
So every 6 months we have what we call a crew change, or like a changeover. So where people normally come on board for 1 or 2 years, and then they serve that time, and then they go home, and then new people come. Every batch or every new group brings something new. The first batch that we received brought a lot of Africans, and then it was a very different vibrant ship. It was very exciting to have different people just filling up our home. And now the groups become more and more, how do you call it? They become more and more diverse, which is pretty exciting. And I think everyone just brings something right. And I think that's something that we are very aware. Like everyone that has come on board has come at the perfect time. And it's cool to see. Sometimes you might have more, I don't know, Africans that will bring their passion and their vibrancy and their colors in their clothes. Or you might bring some more Asians that are more reserved, but like they're also very passionate into like their culture. So it's very exciting. So yeah, every 6 months we have a bit of change, but it's also really nice to see some of those that have stayed a little bit longer and go through everything. But also the last batch that we received, we were in Taiwan, and then we spent almost like 6 months in Taiwan. And then I learned how to eat with chopsticks and stuff like that. And I found myself after we left Taiwan, like a month after or something, and I was like, I miss eating with chopsticks. And then I was like, I think I just need to eat with chopsticks. And then I just went and then grabbed chopsticks instead of spoon and fork, and then just get it. And I was like, oh, it feels it feels right. And then no one else around, like, it was quite funny because everyone else around was like, well, that's fine. Oh, sorry. That's fine. So I think it just makes it so beautiful how we are all just one family. And I think that's what makes this trip unique. That, yeah, of course, we move from port to port, but we're like a little city. And each one has our own responsibility and duties and everything, but also we're just like a family. And then that is very exciting.
Well, each of the cities that you do visit, every port is different. So, what does feel distinct about Dili in particular to you, given that that's where we are right now?
Oh, I mean, I think the people are what makes places unique. And I think people here in, I mean, Timor-Leste and Dili, I think they're very resilient, and they have, of course, gone through a lot. But also the people you see here are very passionate and eager to learn more. So it's very exciting to just go down the streets and then chat with them and then be like, oh yeah, we have heard about it, but also we want to learn this. Can you help us practicing some English? Can you like can you speak Portuguese or stuff like that? So it's very interesting to see the eagerness of developing and then going forward. It's really nice.
And when you are departing, what is something that you hope to leave with the countries that you have been visiting?
I think we hope to leave a positive impact on the people that have come through, but also we hope that they had been able to acquire or get some good literature that will help them developing further, or whatever they are in their journeys. So that's the whole thing for them, just to be able to continue growing and continue developing the nations that they are in. And yeah, that will be like the main thing for us to be able to leave behind kind of a legacy. And yeah, and it's pretty cool when we get to come back and hear what our previous ships have been able to do, but also what has happened through like the visit. So that's nice.
And do you think, being in such a digital and fast-paced world, is it still incredible that you can be a floating library and people can still be wowed and wondered by it?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, even coming in like countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, they're very developed and they're very like they hardly use cash, like notes. Um, the sense of having a physical book changes everything, and opening it up and being able to highlight it, I think that was what they were looking for. And it's just pretty cool to see how people are still in need of that, and how even though we're highly dependent sometimes in our smartphones and different digital things that we are able to have access to, there's still a difference of grabbing a book and having the text written, and just having it, like just the experience that comes with it, and how much you remember sometimes when you read it and like highlight it than when you have it. Of course, like if you have a Kindle or something, you can also highlight it and you can also do things, but it's the feeling. And I think that's something that cannot be replaced that easily, even right now with AI, right? Like you can just have it so fast, but it's like people are still wanting to know the reason behind things, not necessarily just they want things even. There's some reasoning and they just want to know more. So it is something that we continue to see, and this is why we continue to be relevant, because people are still in need of having access to good literature.
And do you find yourself still curling up with a book on the couch? Or
Yeah. So like one of the main conversations we have sometimes when we receive containers, because we receive containers from the US and the UK every 3 months or 6 months, they it's always we go up, and then it's like, okay, what is new? And then you struggle with the fact of, do I buy this, do I not buy this? So with my best friends, what we do is like, okay, I will get this book, you get that book, and then we exchange. And then if it's really really good, then we go and buy one, because we need to think when we go home, or when we go, and we finish, what are we taking in our suitcase? So like people have taken just suitcase full of books, so that's the part that is a bit funny, but yeah.
Well, on the other side of things though, it must be a little bit demanding being out on the ocean and in the seas and away from your family and friends. So what are some of the demands that, looking from the outside in, that we might not realize?
I mean, some people will get a bit seasick or motion sickness, I praise the Lord that I don't get it because I can just sleep the whole day, and then that's beautiful. But some people just struggle with that. But I think you get used to it, like you get your sea legs, and then you are okay with that. But that is more like physically. I think one of the points, of course, is just living with so many different cultures will bring some points that you are not used to things, or like there's points of I was told that we should clean things like this, or like the toilet paper should go this way instead of that way. So it just teaches you a lot of let's talk about it. One of my previous directors used to tell me a lot, Valet, if you don't understand something, don't misunderstand, go and clarify. And I think that's one of the lessons that has stuck to me. And it's just so beautiful to learn also, and to be, oh, actually they don't do this here, they do it like that. And then it's not that they're wrong and I'm right, or I'm wrong and they're right. It's just like the beautiful thing of opening your mind. And that was it. And also, of course, you will miss your family, you miss your food, but you also find family in these people. And I think the people that I have been able to serve alongside during these years have become one of the closest people I have. And yeah, you can see my phone. I love saving people's numbers with their flags. So then if you go through it, it's like the whole world. So I think if I ever do another world trip, I will probably have a home in every country. So that's pretty cool. So like it's, of course, you get some moments that are like, oh, what is going on? But you also have someone just on the next bed, or like in the bunk bed. So that's pretty cool.
So the flag questions on a trivia night, you're the person for that?
Probably.
And also just my input would be the toilet paper goes that way.
I guess depends where you're in the front. So I didn't care about it. And then my cabin mate was like, Vale, what do you think about this? And I was like, I don't know. Just do it. And he was like, okay, can we just do it that way? And I was like, okay, yeah.
Sure thing, no problem. So you must also be constantly telling and listening and sharing to stories. How has being part of this ship changed the way that you listen to people and that you share the stories and you communicate with the outside world about this boat?
I think it all depends on who you're talking to and how you're connecting with them. It's all depending on your audience and what message you want to leave behind. I recently heard a story of our previous ship when we visited Dili in 2008. They managed to go to a school and help building the school. So their job was just to put the bricks and then meet like the kids on the streets. That was it. But then I went and visited, and then the teacher was just amazed and what they were able to do, because they said like we just needed hands and that's what you provided. So for me it was like wow. And then there was like these 7 guys, they were just able, this group of 7 people just went there, put the bricks and everything, and now the school runs, and then they have 100 students up to grade 4, and it's the first international school in that area of Timor-Leste. And they are just like, they remember them with like a very high streak because they just came and were willing to do what it was needed. So for me, hearing those stories, seeing kids being impacted, seeing parents bringing their kids because of the memories they had, it moves your heart. So I loved going down and just meeting people where they are, going down and hearing what they experience. In the Philippines, I had the experience. We had a pretty long line one day, and then we just went down and then just meet with them, and then I met this family that brought books, and I was like, can you tell me about your books? And it's like, this my parent, like I came as a child and I bought this flag book, and now I'm bringing my kids for them to have their own flag book because I want to keep mine. And I was like, what do you buy it in one of our previous ships? And they were like, yeah, every time we buy, the new generation will get a flag book. So, and it's like a little family tradition. So all those little things that you find around the world are what just makes the difference. And I think those are the stories that I love to hear, and I love to also to share with the world.
That definitely tugs at the heartstrings.
Yeah, it's just, and then, because sometimes I do wonder, like, what do people want to do, or what are they expecting? And I think people are just looking for those experiences and those moments that are just like unique and new. And yeah, even when you have exposed to many things, or you have access to many different opportunities, you're also wanting those unique moments. And that's what we're hoping to have.
That's amazing. Well, then to finish on that beautiful, heartwarming moment, if someone listening feels stirred by this but doesn't know how, why yet, what would you want them to sit with after this conversation, after hearing about this and learning about the work that this ship brings to so many different people and countries?
I mean, they can find more information. They can follow us on social media. We're on Doulos Hope, on Facebook and Instagram. But I think in general for me will be for people to be able that they are aware that they can make a difference wherever they are. And that's something that I have seen it, but also you can see it in your work. Like I think the way that you do your things matters. And sometimes we might not think, because of course we have been exposed to so many needs around the world, and it can be overwhelming at times. But knowing that we can make the difference to one person is what makes me wake up every single day. And I think that's something for them to also, like, if they know they can be an influence wherever they are and hopefully a positive influence to the people they have around, I think they are making a difference in the people. And that's it. Like, we can all do it and we can all play a part on it.
Amazing. I'm going to leave it at that now. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
Safe travels.
Thank you so much.
Before we close, I keep thinking about what Valet shared: seeking clarity, being present, and the things that remain long after a ship leaves port. Season 2 of 68 Cups is going to take us to new places and introduce us to new voices. But the heart of these conversations stays the same. People choosing meaning, often quietly, often without certainty, and learning something about themselves along the way. Thank you for listening and for taking this first step with me from Dili. Catch you for the next cup of tea.